Alright, here are some practice problems for dependent probability. It says in a board game, students draw a number, do not replace it, and then draw a second number. Determine the probability for each event occurring. So, here are the numbers. They take one, they don't put it back, and then they take another. So, number 1 says a student draws an odd number and then a 6. Okay, well, remember, with compound probability, there are more than one events. On this one, there's 2 events. A student draws an odd number. That is event number 1. Then a 6. That is event number 2. That E means event. So, first thing I need to know, remember, favorable over total. That's how you find probability. So, the easiest thing usually to find is the total. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. So my total is 8. And how many favorable outcomes? Favorable means it's what you're trying to measure. It's what you're trying to get. So for event 1, if he wants an odd number, those are your favorable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little check on all of the favorable outcomes, all the ones that are odd numbers. So 1, that's odd. 6, no. 6, no. 9, yes, that's odd. 2, no. 1, yeah, that's odd. 6 and 2, no, those are even. So how many favorable events do I have? How many odd numbers do I have? 1, 2, and 3. So that's 3 out of 8. Okay? So let's say for event 2, I don't return it. It doesn't matter which one of these that you pretend that you didn't return, but one of them I'm going to just X out. Okay? Let's say that I got a 1 and it's gone. I don't put it back. Now, how many cards do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my total is different for event number 2. That is the whole deal with dependent probability. That's what it all comes down to. You have to remember that your total is going to change. Alright, so now we still need to find the favorable. I want a 6, so I'm going to put a little check on all the 6s. Okay, there's 1, and there's 1. Okay, so that's 3 6s. Okay, so I have 3 over 8 and 3 over 7. Remember, you are going to multiply these. So I'm going to rewrite it down here so that I have a little bit more room. 3 over 8 times 3 over 7. Before you multiply, always check if you can simplify. 3 and 8, no. 3 and 7, no. And remember, it's any top with any bottom. Okay? On this one, though, it doesn't matter how you look at it. You just can't simplify it. So you multiply straight across. 3 times 3 gives you 9 over 8 times 7 gives you 56. Now up here, what I did with these boxes, I wanted you to multiply straight across and then simplify. So 3 times 3 gives you 9, 8 times 7 gives you 56. And this one would be for your simplified answer. But on this one, you can't simplify. So the answer is just 9 over 56. Okay. Okay, so for problem number 2 over here, a student draws a 2 and then another 2. So we're still looking at the exact same cards. Pretend that I didn't put an X through that one because we're starting over. So there's still a total of 8. And a student draws a 2 and then another 2. So a student draws a 2. That is event number 1. And then, after it says and then, that means that you're going to your second event. Another 2. That is event number 2. Okay, so the first event, I want to get a 2. How many favorable outcomes do I have? So any 2 that I have, I'm going to put a little orange check on. No. there's a 2, and there's a 2. So how many favorable do I have? 2. Okay, but I do not put it back. So it doesn't matter which one, but I'm going to pick one of them, and I'm going to put an X through it, because that 2 is no longer in the bag or the board game. Okay. My second event, I want another 2. Okay, things are going to change. I don't have a total of 8 cards anymore. That one's gone. Now I only have 7 cards. And I want a 2. How many 2s do I have? That one right there. I cannot count this one because I didn't put it back. So there's only 1 2 in there. Okay, now I'm going to multiply this. 2 over 8 times 1 over 7. There's 2 ways to do this. In fact, I'll do it this way first. If you multiply straight across, which is what you're supposed to do, you get 2 times 1 is 2 over 8 times 7 is 56. And then for this one, you're supposed to simplify. You can divide 2 and 56 by 2. They're both even numbers. If it's an even number, you can divide it by 2. And 2 divided by 2 gives you 1. And 56 divided by 2 gives you 28. If you need to come off to the side and figure that out, definitely you can. The reason I come down here and I do it this way is because 56 divided by 2, you may not have known that in your head. And 56 is a big number. So down here, what I'm doing is I'm trying to encourage you to simplify before you multiply. Simplifying before you multiply keeps the numbers small so that you don't have to deal with something like 56. Okay, so can I simplify anything in here? Yes, 2 and 8. Those are both divisible by 2. They're both even numbers. So I divide by 2, divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 gives me 1, and 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. So now, if I rewrite this, I have 1 over 4 times 1 over 7. Okay, I cannot simplify it anymore. So I multiply straight across. 1 times 1 is 1 over 4 times 7 is 28. So you get the same answer. You still have to simplify. No matter which way you do it, you have to simplify. It's just a matter of when you do the simplifying. Okay? You get to choose when you simplify. You can simplify here whenever the numbers are big, which there's no problem with. Or you can simplify here when the numbers are small. Okay? It's up to you. As long as you actually do the simplifying correctly, you should get the same answer. Okay, let's look at the next 2 practice problems.